Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sprint 235 review. This is a normal 2-week sprint. Let's get started. I'll start with the overview. Jeffrey on the UI. Adam's taken off today, so I will do the providers and Joe on the platform. As you can see, it was a relatively normal sprint with 55 PRs merged this sprint and evenly spread across bugs, enhancements, and test. And over to Jeffrey on the UI.
Thanks, Jason. So in Sprint 235, a total of 20 PRs got merged into the UI Classic repo, out of which 2 are related to bug fix, 2 for enhancements, 12 for fixing JS test cases, and 4 others. I can explain about them in the following slides. So when you visit the overview optimization report page, the Q report button click event was not working, and an issue was reported recently. So earlier we had a PR to remove all the eval functions, and the optimization modules was not touched before, causing this issue here. So after refactoring the code according to the new design, the Q report button now works. Next slide. The information at the Ansible Towers template survey block was missing, and Gilbert added a few new methods into the configuration script controller file to bring this data. Next slide. As you can see in the screenshot, the contents of the settings region tags were misaligned before, and we enhanced this page by providing a design that matches the summary pages, like moving the 2 sections into an accordion, providing margin spaces, changing the button styles, etc. Also, when you click on the delete button, browser-dependent confirmation box was popped up before, and now we are reusing the generic React confirmation box. Next slide. This PR is from Keenan to introduce a column for providers in the list and the summary pages in the modules like key pairs, placement groups, resource pool, networking, and containers. Dependent PRs were also merged into the ManageIQ repository. Next slide. We managed to fix 12 test case warnings that are associated with React components like MIQ form renderer, zone form, PXE ISO data store forms, add remove security group forms, diagnostic CO repair forms, cloud volume actions, MIQ structured list, remove catalog item model, timeline table, settings label tag mapping, MIQ custom tab, and Ansible playbook workflows. Next slide. For the others, Keenan raised a PR to change a Ruby method from orderable to supports of order. tar package was updated from 6.2.0 to 6.2.1. And Jason worked on an auth key pair cloud spec file to drop the stub supports. And one more PR from Jason to get the class name from the object rather than using the class itself in a few spec files. Over to Jason for the providers.
Okay. On the provider side, some new documentation was added to document how to enable inventory syndication and how to add remove cloud provider regions. This was specific. It started out specifically for I believe, the Power VC provider. On the IBM cloud side, a new Power VS region was added for Madrid, and the Power VS additional regions was fixed relating to the add remove cloud provider regions. In Kube Client, the Kubernetes library that we use, a PR was made to assume role support for AWS EKS credentials. And specs were also fixed by regenerating TLS certificates that were expired in the recorded interactions there. On the OpenStack side, a fix was made a spec fix was made for supports feature changes that came in recently. For VMware, another stub supports fix was made, stubbing the proper class. For the flow gem, a reader method for the ASL comment property was added, allowing us to get the description of the ASL more easily. Support was also added for pluggable schemas, which allows different schemas for the resource action of a task. The refactoring was done first for the existing Docker schema, with the ability to add more schemas in the future. And a change was also made to ensure that local code is loaded when running XeFlow. If you ran XeFlow without bundle exec, it would try to run code from the installed gem instead of what's in the local code, and there'd be a mismatch potentially. So this allows XeFlow to be run without bundle exec and still load the correct code. And finally, on the workflow side, a workflow description was added from the ASL comment that was exposed in the flow gem just a few bullets up. And over to Joe on the platform.
Thanks, Jason. For platform enhancements and improvements, Brandon enhanced the container repos to update the base image as part of the starting at the beginning of building the container. Next, Keenan dropped the supports feature some feature question mark methods by simplifying via check supports, as evidenced by all of the other repositories also needing some of these changes for changes such as stubbing and to stub the right method. Next, Adam made the Git worktree pull method a public method since it wasn't actually being used internally. And doing this allows us to avoid using send to get around the private methods. And he also added support for null values in the worker settings for the unit config file. Next slide. For platform bugs, Brandon fixed an issue where we were including the gem file lock files from each gem's directory in the gem.set.rpm, and it wasn't needed, so he removed that. And he also temporarily locked down the Ruby version we use for the RPM builds. This is to get around an issue where the default gems provided by Ruby conflict with what we expect in our bundle, and you can actually require certain libraries. And Jason updated the OpenSSF scorecard link to the website instead of using the JSON API endpoint. Next slide.
And that's it for the Sprint 234 review. Our next Sprint 235 review will be on May 1st at the usual place and time. And as always, I'd like to thank all the presenters today, all the contributors to ManageIQ, and all those out there opening issues and discussions. Thanks, everyone.